Let's turn some fruits into syrup the long and boring way. I'm going to be making chung, which is a common way to preserve fruits in Korea using just sugar and whatever fruit you have. They make for delicious sweeteners and are great in teas and drinks of the fun variety. I'm going to be using these regular looking apples, some russet apples, and ripe plums. Usually this is done with unripe green plums, but I can't get any right now, so let's see how this goes. Clean the fruit in water, then let them dry off completely. Then I'm cutting up and taking out any stones or seeds in the fruit. Throwing them in glass jars about 3/4 of the way up, then adding equal weight of the fruit and granulated sugar. I did this for all 3 fruits, and then I had some left over of each fruit, so I decided to try a mixed one, and I threw in this big cinnamon stick for funsies. Now these have to sit for a few months, but make sure you guys harass me in the comments of all my videos for updates, and I'll make sure I film some regularly. That's a good idea. Let's do it. Instead of tangerines, let's use oranges. I'm making sure they're thoroughly clean, then dried, and I'm thinly slicing them up. Then in a clean jar, I'm adding sugar equal to the weight of the oranges. I'm going to layer them, sugar, orange, and so on. Once this jar is full, I'm taping down the lid because it's quite full at this point, and then this will go in a cool, dry place for about 3 months as well. Here's an update on our Korean fruit syrup project. It's been about a week since we made the first 4 jars of chung, and already most of the sugar is liquefied in the jars. Keep in mind we did not add any additional liquid to these. This is purely liquid pulled out from the fruit. So today we're going to do a little maintenance. A lot of the fruit is poking up out of the liquid, so I'm going to push them back down into the liquid. I'm using this muddler that I poured a little isopropyl alcohol onto, and I'm shaking it off dry. Then I'm going to gently push down all the fruit until it sits mostly under the liquid. The fruits become quite soft and they smell amazing, exactly like the fruit that they contain. Just out of curiosity, once I was done pushing everything down, I gave it a little taste. But since the orange chung was the last one I pressed out, it tastes exactly like orange hard candy. Delicious, and I cannot wait until these are done.
So you guys remember these things that I made a couple days ago? About 1 million of you guys watched the videos on those. So if you're following along, I have the next step in what I'm going to do with these. So if we look at the plum one, as you can see, lots of liquid coming out. If you look closely, there's a bit of bubbling happening, which means it's fermented a tiny bit. So now this has actually drawn out a lot of the liquid. We're going to move these into a cold area. You can use a fridge. I have so many of these, I don't have space in the fridge. So actually, considering it's wintertime here in the UK, I'm just actually going to put these outside. So I don't want to just put these jars outside, open to the elements and all that kind of stuff. So what I have is a 5-gallon bucket, and I've already gone and put some of my other ones in here as well. Also a little secret one, this is lemon and green tea. I actually put pieces of green tea in here with some lemons. I tasted it, it tastes amazing.
So my audio got messed up here, but I'm throwing these into a bucket, slapping the lid on, then placing this outside where it's cold enough to drastically slow down any fermentation.
Let's do an update on our fruit sugar syrup thingies. It's Christmas Day. It's been a week, maybe 2 weeks since I put these outside. I haven't seen these yet, so I'm gonna be seeing these at the same time as you guys. Let's start with these ones, which is the orange and the mixed fruit. Been pretty cold lately. We did have one day which was quite cold, a lot of frost outside. So here's the orange and the mixed fruit. There you go, you can see plenty of liquid there. I think that's a little less sugar than before, but overall, doing perfectly fine. The mixed fruit is the one that gave me the most problems actually. I think it's because of the cinnamon sticks that I put in, and also because for the longest time a lot of it was sticking up out of the liquid. A little bit of this weird film on the side, so I'm going to keep an eye on this one. This one I'm going to be the most cautious with, so who knows if I actually use this one in the end. I have not looked at these at all while they've been outside. We don't have much time, so we'll have to get through this quick. Lemon and green tea, looking pretty good. You can see it's taken on the color of the tea. These are regular apples, everything's going fine with those. Plum is looking really good as well, nice sort of light red, pinkish, purple color, which looks fantastic. Quite a bit of sugar still there at the bottom. We've got the russet apples, which is doing great as well. Nice clear liquid, and then quite a bit of sugar still left at the bottom. And then the pomegranate is looking amazing. All the seeds have been pushed down, so all the sugar between the seeds has been mixed up. I might go ahead and give a lot of these a quick mix again to reincorporate the sugar, just so I can try and draw out some more liquid. This is another one that I made, which is lemon and ginger, and I also put a star anise and a couple cardamom pods in there as well, so that's looking pretty good too. And then these are going back outside until the next update.
It's time for an update. You guys keep asking, so here's another chung update. We're coming up to the end of this project, but not much has really changed. Some of these have actually fermented a little bit, which is fine for me, but just keep an eye on yours if you're making these too. The plum chung has even become a little carbonated. Anyways, I gave these all a mix to redistribute some of the sugar left over. I tasted some of them and they all have such distinct flavors, which I'll go over when we finish this off.
3 months ago, we covered some fruit in sugar, and then a whole bunch of you thought it was interesting enough to warrant 3 more updates. Well, the time has finally come to finish off this project and free up some glass real estate for other projects.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what got over me there. Anyways, let's get going with this. So not all the sugar is actually dissolved, but at this point I don't think it will. So I strained each fruit chung out and poured the syrup into little individual jars to keep it in the fridge for use. And to stop any potential further fermentation that will change in flavor, I pasteurized the syrups too in a water bath and let them cool off before putting them in the fridge. As for the fruit, the oranges I decided to try and dehydrate into sort of like a candied orange thing to see if it would work. And some of the other fruit I put into small glass bottles and filled with soju to make fruit sojus.
Let's taste some of these fruit chungs and also the candied oranges. We've got apple, russet apple, pomegranate, and plums. First up, plum. Definitely tastes like plum. It's a bit sour, a bit tangy, but that might be because it fermented a little bit, but still so delicious. Next up is pomegranate. Oh, that one is amazing. It's so tasty. Like, it tastes exactly like the best part of eating a pomegranate. Next up is russet apples. Appley, it's a bit nutty, sweet again. I mean, these are all sweet, basically sugar. Really smooth, it's like a really nice candy. These are like regular classic apples. Nowhere near as nutty as the russet apples, but it's got that little bit of like appley tartness, which is quite nice. Still delicious. And I forgot to mention, I also have the orange one as well. Ooh, because I left the skin on the oranges, it's brought in a bit of that like orange skin bitterness, but it's like, tastes exactly like orange candy. Amazing. And then finally, the candied oranges. Oh, really sweet, of course, but the texture is amazing. It's not too like tough or anything. It's sweet, but the rind brings a nice bitterness to it too. It's amazing. Although just even one of these is probably a lot of sugar. Too much sugar for me. These make great garnish for like orangey cocktails and stuff.